Hello guys, this is Glenn from Sydney CBD Repair Centre, and today we have a Huawei Mate 20 Pro with a broken display, and we're gonna perform a screen replacement on this one today. So let's get started. So first thing we're gonna do is remove the back cover on this Huawei, which is surprisingly easy to remove, and this shows us that this device has been opened before and has been repaired. Since we know that a lot of smartphones from this decade has very strong adhesives, when you open them you have to melt them quite a bit, and this one just opens up right away. So we're just gonna remove some screws and mark some screws so that it will aid us in our reassembly later on. And we're gonna remove this wireless charging and NFC pad, and of course some weak adhesives on top of the motherboard shroud. And we're gonna remove this slowly. Sometimes they're just wedged in really tight. We have to take our time. Don't force the components out. If you want to DIY this, you don't want to use excessive force when removing shrouds or even motherboards. So these are the flex cables for various connections. Thankfully it runs over the battery, so we have to remove this shroud and then remove this connector. Sometimes they have the power and the signal cables are close to each other, which is really weird, but it works because the design is allowing it to be in close proximity to each other. This one is the charging port. We're gonna remove that. And as you can see right away that the Huawei Mate 20 Pro has a lot of parts that are going out of the device one by one. It's not integrated into larger components or modules. So it's kind of very tricky for a newbie or maybe a hobbyist repairer to fix. So you have to remember where you got these components. The battery is surprisingly easy to remove. This adhesive for the battery is a really good design. So this is the replacement display. The replacement display includes all the mounting points for the components and of course the frame of the device. So when you try to replace your Mate 20 Pro's screen, you're also replacing the frame or that you can see on the side of the device, so it will look brand new right away when you successfully fixed your unit. So right here David has remembered everything, thankfully, and he's gonna reinstall the main board on the new display. So some devices have the screen on top of a frame, but this one has an integrated frame on the side, so it's easier in my opinion to fix these kinds of units compared to removing the screen on the front, because it's also an added workload. You have to allot time to perform that operation. Then we're gonna install the shroud for the daughter board and the charging port at the bottom, the antenna cables, other cables. So we have to ensure that these flex cables are not damaged once we reinstall them right away. So is this a good smartphone for DIY enthusiasts? Maybe not. Maybe you can try out Samsung's flagship smartphones. They are quite easier to fix. This one just disintegrates or disassembles into pieces, which is kind of more complicated when you think about it. But if you want a challenge and you have a spare Huawei Mate 20 Pro, then you can do it. Just make sure you have the proper tools and proper training. At least watch some YouTube videos. So David here is gonna install the remaining screws on top of the motherboard shroud, and the smartphone is almost done. So if you have a Huawei Mate 20 Pro or an iPhone that needs a screen replacement, or if you have an ROG phone that needs a new screen because you rage quit and you threw it all on the wall and you broke the display, then head on to Sydney CBD Repair Centre. We're gonna fix that unit for you. And if you are not able to go to Sydney and visit our shop, you can also mail in your device. You send it to us via post, and we're gonna send it back to you once we're done with the repair. So we're just gonna test all the buttons, the touchscreen, the cameras, sensors, speakers, everything, and this will be ready for the client. We're gonna reuse the back cover because it's still good. And look at that. It's almost brand new. So thanks for joining, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time. Cheers.
If you want your smartphone fixed for a very reasonable price, you may contact Sydney CBD Repair Centre. We also provide mail-in repair services for customers outside of Australia or Sydney. Just message us so we can arrange the shipping of your device.